this discussion regarding Delaware statutory trusts, and actually in some ways it goes beyond that, is kind of short, I think, but really, really important. And I want to discuss the concept of a fiduciary. So first of all, defined fiduciary. I think I took this off Investopedia. Fiduciary is a person or organization that owes to another the duties of good faith and trust, the highest legal duty of one party to another. It also involves being bound ethically to act in the other's best interests. A fiduciary, this would be, say, like an attorney, would be bound to act in the best interests of their clients, right? So on the brochures, it says that this company is accredited by the Better Business Bureau, which is nice. It just means that maybe they're not legally cheating their clients, but as we talked about before, the devil's in the details. So this is from the Private Placement Memorandum. The trustees do not have a fiduciary duty to any investors, and therefore may take actions that would not be in the best interests of one or more of the investors. That says it all. Also, I know for a fact that the broker-dealer who was offering these Delaware statutory trusts to my family cannot be a fiduciary, because if he was, he couldn't offer products like this where he's going to make a huge commission. Here's another one. A prospective investor should not purchase the interests unless the prospective investor is willing to entrust all the aspects of the assets and finances of the properties to the asset managers. We've got this web of related party transactions here, but it just says right here, it says you have to be willing to entrust all the aspects of the assets and finances of the properties to the asset managers, who are not fiduciaries. It just said they're not required to act in your best interests. Let's move on. None of the management arrangements or agreements is the result of arm's length negotiations. They're all part of this parent company, except for you, the investor. You're the only one that's out of the loop. And remember, they don't have a fiduciary duty. They don't have it. They're not required to act in your best interests. Investors will not receive audited financial statements for the properties. So we've got, they're not required to act in your best interests. We have enormous amount of related party transactions, and there's no third party auditing the financial statements. This company, the asset managers, the master tenants, and the property manager have not developed and do not expect to develop any formal process for resolving conflicts of interest. They're all part of the same company. They have enormous conflicts of interest. They're not required to act in your best interests as the investor. They're not going to provide audited financial statements. But the investor should be willing to entrust all the aspects of the assets and finances of the properties to the asset managers. Really? If you have a significant amount of money to invest and you feel like you need to hire a financial advisor in order to manage that money because you feel like maybe you're not capable of doing it yourself, maybe you don't have the time, maybe you don't have the expertise, that's fine. If you do, the first question you should ask them before you hire them is, are you a fiduciary? If the answer is anything but yes, the conversation's over. you shouldn't trust them. Why would you trust somebody with a large amount of your money that may be your retirement, maybe your children's inheritance, when you could trust it to somebody who is legally and ethically bound to act in your best interests? Why trust it to somebody who's not? Why trust it to somebody who is going to give most of the business to other entities that are under the same parent corporation? To me, that just doesn't make any sense. Thanks.